Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope you guys are getting ready for a good weekend. Somebody asked me about the rational equations intro homework, so I'm going to go through and do this, but I think it's going to require a little pre-work to kind of help you out with this. So I've set up a problem over here to solve for you. I've already got it kind of worked out, but I'm going to go through it with you step by step how I did it. And I actually have done it a couple of ways so that you can see what I'm doing and then hopefully be able to apply it. So what I want to do is I want to solve this problem right here. 3/4 x minus 1/5 equals 1/10. Now, I'm going to give you a technique. I know so many of you are fractions are scary, they're difficult, you don't understand how to deal with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through how to solve this. And really what you want to do is you want to multiply by what's called the common denominator. Now, I'm going to show you two different problems. I'm going to show you where I multiply simply by all three denominators. Then I'm going to show you what happens if I just multiply by the common denominator so that you can kind of see the difference. So I'm going to work you through this one first. So if I multiply this entire equation by 20, I distribute the 20 through. So I take 20 times 3/4 x. Now, here is 20 over 1 times 3/4. I'm going to show you how I would do this. Now, the way I would teach this is to factor tree everything. If you factor tree 20, you know, the whole thing with the little thing, you write 20 and you break it down into factors. When you're done, 20 factors trees into 2 times 2 times 5. The 3 is still sitting there. And 4 factor trees into 2 times 2. Now, anything on the top and the bottom reduces to 1. It divides to give you 1. So the 2 and the 2 divides to give you 1. The 2 and the 2 divides to give you 1. And all you're left with is 5 over 1 times 3 over 1, which is 15. So that's why this becomes 15x. 20 times 3/4 is 15x. Now I'm going to take the 20, I'm going to distribute it, I'm going to multiply by the 1/5. So again, 20 times 1/5, 20 breaks down the same way, 5 doesn't break down. So again, the 5s divide to give me 1. So I'm left with 2 times 2 over 1 times 1 over 1, which is 4. And so you'll see back over here, 20 times 1/5 is 4. Didn't change that subtraction sign at all, it stayed the same. And now I'm going to take 20 times 1/10, which again, I've got set up for you here. 20 over 1 times 1 over 10, factor stuff down, the 2's reduce to 1, the 5's reduce to 1, so I'm left with 2 times 1 over 1 times 1, which is 2. So now, after doing all that, I have a very basic equation. I add 4 to both sides, I divide by 15, and then here I am reducing again. I factor tree 6 and 15, the 3's divide to give me 1, and I'm left with 2/5. That's how you handle a rational equation. You multiply by the common denominator. Now, you can just choose to multiply by all three denominators and not worry about finding the common denominator. Let's say you didn't know how to find the common denominator. Well, this is fine, although it can lead us into trouble, but mostly what it does is just makes our numbers bigger. So like when I take this times this, the 4's reduce to give me 1, and I'm left with 5 times 10 times 3, which is 150x. So notice how much bigger that number is. Instead of 15, it's 150. And then when I multiply this times this, the 5's cancel, and I'm left with 4 times 10 times 1, which is 40. Again, notice how much bigger we are. And then 4 times 5 times 10 times 1 over 10, the 10's reduce to 1, and you're left with 4 times 5, which is 20. Again, now you add 40, you divide by 150, and you reduce, and you get the same 2/5. So that's how I would suggest solving any what is called a rational equation. And rational just simply means fraction. You're going to have fractions in it. So we're going to go through and do the problems from the homework set. I'm going to make a video for each individual one of the 4 problems, just because, again, you know, my system tends to freak out and I lose volume. I don't want to go through a whole 4 sets of questions and end up having to redo the whole thing. So I'm going to make 4 separate questions. I'm going to stop this one, and then I'm going to start by making 4 separate questions, 4 different videos for each one of the questions in the homework. So there'll be a few videos here for you to watch.